Third, and I'm founder and owner of BS3 Radio. I've been podcasting for 5 years, and with BS3 Radio, it has grown to over 46,000 listens and downloads. I've helped hundreds of people to start a podcast by giving them the knowledge, tools, and confidence to be successful. Now I'm here to help you do the same with BS3 Coaching. So let's build a successful podcast. I will be your podcast coach. We'll be able to work one-on-one. I won't be giving you a booklet and just telling you to look over it, but we'll be working one-on-one, side by side, to either help build up a successful podcast or to take your podcast to the next level. So click the link above or below to check out the pricing. I look forward to working with you, and God bless. All right, welcome to Reaction Monday. We'll be talking week 8 of the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered Basketball League, which is here in Lewisville, Texas. They had week 8. We had 2 games that played. Also, man, we'll be recapping 2020 in sports. So really talking about some of the top stories, talking about the year in sports. Obviously, we had COVID. We had March Madness being shut down, RIP Kobe, which was a big thing. We had the Lakers being the champs. We had the Dodgers being the champs. And then also we had the Chiefs that won at the beginning of the year. So make sure to join in, share the show, subscribe, click that bell if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Facebook. Give me a quick shout out. Just let me know how you're doing and where you're from, and where you're watching or listening from. So let me give 2 quick shout outs to Marcus Nicholas over on the YouTube side, and then G Gamer 8484. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. So, man, we had another great week of basketball for Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. It was 2 games, like I said. It was the Undiscovered team, which I think is the top team in this league, going up against the prospects. And then we had the pros going up against EA Hoops. And anytime the Undiscovered team plays, there is always some top plays that's going to be done. There's going to be some dunking. There's going to be some high-flying plays. And that's just the way these guys play. You can find you can watch the games. You can see the links scrolling below, creatingyoungminds.uscreen.io, and you can watch it there. They will not be on next week, so they'll be on the week after. So let me make sure I get that date correctly. They will be on the 9th, so you can enjoy your New Year's weekend, but they will be back on January the 9th for week 9. So let's get into game 1, which game 1 was entertaining. Kicking off the game, I want to give a quick shout out to Darius Tabern. He was making some big plays, some early points. But the Undiscovered team, man, they run, they play tough basketball. They're up and down type of team. And it's very, very difficult to stop them. Not only can they run up and down, but they got guys that can shoot threes. They got guys that can play in the post. And they got Jared Henderson, the high-flying dunker on that team. He's also a slasher. He gets to the hole. He's just one of those, I think, great players in this league, and he's a high-energy guy. He's a very high-energy guy. He gets rebounds, he gets the assist, and he's a big contributor for his team. So just to give you a little bit of background on this league, the Undiscovered League, it's a professional basketball league with players from the pros, from the G League, also from the NBA, from all over the world, playing alongside young men. So these are young men that are 18, 19, 20, 17. There's a 16-year-old that are trying to play in the U.S. and around the world. And I think this is a great league. I think it's a great concept, and I think something that will continue to grow. and I am happy to cover it. So, like every single game in the Undiscovered League, Damian Durham playing well, getting some key shots, some quick points. And my biggest thing I was saying is that the prospects have to get the ball to Rick Curry. And we're going to play some highlights here in a minute, so make sure you can stay tuned for those. But big shout out to Terrell Jones of the prospects. He is in of the TBL. He's of the Creating Young Minds Louisville Leopards, and he was playing some great basketball. Man, he was up and down the floor, and he was just one of those players that were making buckets, that were getting buckets, making buckets, doing whatever it took to help his team try to get the win. And he was a new name in the league that I haven't seen, new name in the Undiscovered League, but he's played with a lot of the guys in the league. But he was a big impact from beginning to end. And the prospects making great passes, but the problem was they could not finish. And I think that was a big problem for the prospects throughout this game. At the end of the first, it was 22-16. Chase Winchester, you're going to see a highlight from him. Assist, playing well, making shots, one of those impact players in the game. It was 41-29 with the Undiscovered team leading. And there was 5 quick points by Undiscovered as the game was going along, as it was ending and going into halftime. So my question was, can the prospects get it going in the second half? That was my biggest question. Can they get it going in the second half? Because I know it's going to be tough for them to be able to get it going against this Undiscovered team. And if you're not familiar with this league, Undiscovered is the best team in the league. I would say the second team would be the Pros. They have a really top team. And then also I would put the veterans in there. Maybe I would switch the veterans and the Pros, because the veterans have been playing longer in this league. But, I would have to say, man, Undiscovered, they just got so many weapons and so much firepower. So, Chase Winchester to Damian Durham with a lob off the glass as we got into the third quarter. And then Undiscovered just started to pull away. And when they start to pull away, that's clearly a problem, not only for the other team, but for the rest of the league. When they get a lead, they pretty much keep it and they run with it. But Terrell Jones was the best player for the prospects yesterday. Like I said, up and down the floor, had fresh legs. I mean, he just looked like he was here. He looked like he was here. He was ready to play. He looked like he was supposed to be in this league. And I got to give all props over to him. They pretty much keep it. And he was just over and over again, man, just up and down the floor. I think I would say the MVP from yesterday, just because of his ability to get to the hole and to make shots. Jared Henderson with some big dunks. We'll see some highlights there in a minute. It was 63-45 in the third, Undiscovered. Some prospects, players, started to look undefeated, or started to look defeated, if you will, just because they it was a game that continued to go on and on and on, and they just seemed to couldn't get it going. Like I said, it's a tough team when it comes down to this Undiscovered team in the Undiscovered League. The team is named after them, or the league is named after them, one or the other. But they are just a tough team to stop. Durham getting hot late, and when he gets hot, that's a problem. Brandon McElvey getting hot late for the prospects, but it was just too late in the game. It was too late in the game, and they just could not get it going. So the late push wasn't enough. The Undiscovered team wins, and 88-67. 88-67. Let's go down the stat sheet. Chase Winchester. He's from the University of Nebraska, Kearney. He had a great all-around game. I would say kind of like a Rondo type game. 9 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals. He was an impact player around this game on both sides of the floor. Jared Henderson, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 6 dunks. He had a reverse alley-oop. I'm going to play that highlight. Damian Durham, Cal State Bakersfield, WAC Conference 3-point record holder. And this is no joke because he can shoot lights out. He's been doing it every single game I've watched. 25 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. All-around player. What the scouts are looking for him to become. And he definitely showed out yesterday. Balsa Bolshevik, one of those other high-energy type players, impacting the game. 6 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And then Lewis Patterson, a.k.a. Trey Patterson. They call me Trey. I'm the third, so I got some love for Trey Patterson. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. And as you heard me saying, talking about this name, Terrell Jones, he had 25 points, 9 rebounds. He was he was all over the floor. And he was the leading scorer, and he was the man for the prospects. It just was not enough. And like I said, when you're playing against this undiscovered team, it's just not enough. So coming up in about 15 minutes, we will be talking about 2020, the year in sports. We'll be recapping a lot of different stories, a lot of things that have happened. Let's get to some highlights from this first game. Undiscovered going up against the prospects, and we will see some names that you probably have heard before if you've been tuning in these past couple of weeks. But let's get to this Jared Henderson highlight here.
Hey.
Nice assist by Chase Winchester. I mentioned his name. Let's get to Terrell Jones. Terrell Jones, the player of the game as a whole. Even though they did not win, I'm giving him the player of the game as a whole just because he was playing extremely well, and he's a new face.
Yes, sir.
Nice to the bucket play right there. Also, Chase Winchester, you've been hearing his name. Got a nice. That sweet left hand. I love left-handed players because they're able to. It just seems like they just shoot better. You know, when you talk about Nick Mullen, when you talk about Tayshaun Prince, when you talk about a lot of those sweet lefty type shooters, man, they just got that skill and, you know, that ability to be able to take care of business. Let's go to this Damian Durham highlight. Nice pass down the middle. Nice dunk. Like I said, he has been the man throughout this entire league. The entire time I've been covering this, he has been the man. No joke. Game in, game out. He's got to be averaging 25 points a game. He dropped a 50 spot. The first game that I watched, he dropped a 50 spot. And this is the highlight of yesterday. Damian Durham to Jared Henderson, reverse alley-oop.
Wow.
Exactly. Wow. And what do you think of that slow-mo? Shout out to Creating Young Minds with the highlights. Make sure to visit the website, creatingyoungminds.org. You can watch the games, creatingyoungminds.uscreen.io. And I think it's great basketball. You know, when we talk about watching basketball. A lot of us, and including me, we talk about watching the NBA. We talk about watching the WNBA. We talk about watching the G League. We talk about watching the college. But we rarely talk about those guys, that are undiscovered. Those guys that don't get the full screen time, those that don't get on ESPN, those that don't get on Fox Sports, those that don't get that major access or that major limelight. But these guys can play, and they are looking for opportunities not just in the U.S. But around the world. And if they can get an opportunity in the NBA, if they can get an opportunity in the G League, if they can get an opportunity overseas, that's what they're looking for. And as you can see in these highlights, these guys are working hard, and they're trying to, achieve their dreams and achieve greatness. So I want to give a shout out to Shahira Ackerman, also Mathis Crowder, doing a great job of creating young minds. All right, let's get to game 2. Like I said, we had 2 games. The next one was the Pros versus EA Hoops. And the Pros are a real legit team. And if there's some team that could take down Undiscovered, I would say it's got to be between the Pros and the Vets. Now, the Vets haven't played. They didn't play this week. I think they played last week. But those 2 teams, I think, could possibly take down the Undiscovered team. But the Pros have a guy named CJ Carter. CJ Carter used to play for the NBA with the Knicks, also played in the G League. He had 19 points, and Sterling Sanders had 14. But to me, the big story was that EA Hoops, which has had some struggles, they're not going to lie and say that they haven't, but they've had some struggles, but they really played tough with this Pros team, and I was really impressed. I was really impressed with how they came out yesterday. EA Hoops were pushing it early. I made in my notes, I like that, and this was really a game with the young gunners in EA Hoops versus the old heads in the Pros. Now, I'm going to call them old heads because I'm old, so I can say that, but they're a little bit older, so 33, 34. They got some guys in their 20s, but they really have a polished team, and they really can play. And EA was looking good early, and I was shocked because they've had their struggles throughout this league, but they really showed up. So it was 12-11, the Pros leading, a very low scoring first half, and I think a lot of shots just weren't falling. The Pros, like they've done the past couple of weeks, have been able to just pour in buckets, and they weren't able to do that, this week. And I think that was a factor. CJ Carter missed 2 dunks, like the old Sprite commercials. If you remember that old Sprite commercials when the guy got hung on the rim, that was happening to CJ Carter. He was having a little bit of a tough day. He bounced back. Like I said, he had 19 points, so he did have a pretty good day. Yash Matu. First of all, I like the name. Second of all, he had a nice 3. He had a couple of threes throughout the game. In the first half, it was 23-19. The Pros were up. EA was keeping it close. And I was like, okay, the EA may get a win. They really may get a win. When I would consider them an underdog, I would consider them, a team that is working to get an upset. That's what I would consider it. And so my question was, who was going to pull away in the second half? The Pros and EA having some struggles in the first half, so who's going to pull away in the second half? Big shout out to Towns Ballard. Towns Ballard was getting some buckets. I wanted to shout him out because he had a couple of big shots that could have swayed this game the other direction, and I was impressed. So I wanted to make sure I gave him a shout out. Towns Ballard for the EA Hoop squad, and so he played well. Got a couple of buckets, and anything could help. When it comes down to to this type of league, and he's 18 years old. So, I mean, me playing at 18, playing with 4 NBA pros, to me, man, is a great thing. EA playing with the spark. Also, they didn't have Keith Smith. You know, if you've been following along, Keith Smith is somebody that I mention every single weekend. He didn't even play the first half. So for that, you know, to me was like, okay, with him, Keith Smith coming in, there's a way that they can win this game. So it's 37-33. The pros were up at the end of the third. Going into the fourth, CJ Carter was still kind of struggling. Sterling Sanders with some big shots, and the pros end up winning the game 52-46. Shout out to McKinley Sanders. He led EA with 12 points. You know, this was one of those games that really could have went either way. I was impressed at how EA played. You know, they had an opportunity to get a win. You know, obviously it didn't work out that way, and there's no moral victories in sports, but you got to give a shout out to those kids, which a lot of them are young. You got to give a shout out to them because they put in work. And that's all. If you're a coach, I think that's all that you can really ask for. You put in work and you try to get the win. You hustle. You try to get those hustle points. You try to make the best possible shot. And I think they did that. Also, shout out to Mathis Crowder. He's the coach. And during one of the games, during the first game, Undiscovered versus, let me look back at my notes, Undiscovered versus the Prospects, I believe he was coaching both teams. And he pulled both teams into the huddle. And I had to get a quick motivational speech. But Mathis Crowder, I think one of the best coaches I've ever seen. He will yell at you, but I'm sure you get some type of motivation out of it because he's trying to make you better. And that's one thing I respect about him. Shout out to my man, Vince Wright, the sports governor. What's going on, Vince? He says, go Gophers. Took down Michigan State tonight. That's nice. That is nice. We're talking about 2020 in sports, man. The year in sports was a crazy year. We got a couple of guests that will be coming up in a few minutes. We got DeAnthony Thompson. We got Nithin Ramachandra, and we got Courtney Harden. So we got a great set of guys coming on the show here in a minute. Make sure to check out Undiscovered League, the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. As you can see, it's scrolling down at the bottom. They will be back on the 9th. Week 9 will be January 9th. No games next week. Creating Young Minds at uscreen.io. Or you can watch it in person if you live in Texas, if you live in North Texas, Louisville. The MAC Sports in Louisville. Look it up. You can go there, check it out, watch the games live. Vince Wright says, and go Duke. Yeah, we're not gonna spend too much time on Duke. You know what it is. We're not gonna spend that much time on the Dukies. Tar Heels every day, all day, twice on Saturdays. And how is Duke playing, by the way? Let me pull that up real quick. I know they're getting a lot of top recruits. They continue to do it every single year. Their last game was actually on looks like the 16th. They beat Notre Dame. They play Florida State coming up on the 2nd. They did lose to Illinois. We'll see what happens. 2020 sucked, but I'm almost scared to see what 2020 has to offer. Hey, Vince, 2021 is going to be better, okay? We cannot go any further down than what we are right now, my friend. We cannot go any further down. We are right now at the bottom of the barrel. But 2021, definitely, I think will be better. We got the vaccine. We're going to have so much sports going on. We should have a March Madness. So to me, that alone is going to give us some hope. We do have a new president coming into the White House. But as you guys are watching, as you see me or hear me, share your favorite memory of 2020 in sports. If your team won the Super Bowl, if your team won a championship, share your favorite memory. Laugh out loud. I pray you're right. I pray that I'm right too. I'm praying every single day. But share your favorite memory. You know, we had a lot of tough ones. We had a lot of tough memories this year, a lot of deaths. Clifford Robinson, if you remember Clifford Robinson with the headband back in the day with the Trailblazers. Kobe, man. That one hit hard. And I did not believe it. When I first, I tell this story numerous times, but when that happened, I was like, there's no way that this story is true. There's no way. I was trying to figure out a way to, first of all, find out if the story was true. And then second of all, kind of comes to grip with it, come to grips with it, because I just didn't think that was legit. And after time passed, that story was real. So definitely R.I.P. Kobe. That was a hard pill to swallow because we all knew who Kobe was. We knew. And I know this never happens, but you just think that is the guy that's going to live forever. Like, that's the guy that's never going to die and he's going to live forever. Just like I thought the same thing with Michael Jackson. But it's just not true. That's just not the reality of life. We all are going to pass away. We all are going to die. And that's just the truth. And the scary part is that it happens sooner for some people. And it's just a tough thing. It's a tough thing. Gophers beating Auburn on New Year's Day, big bowl win, an SEC team, and a great way to end 11-2 season. Great job. Great job. Shout out to Fat Burning Kid. Says hello. Hello. How are you? Share your favorite memory of 2020 in sports. So whatever that may be. Hey, if your team won something, if your team did not win, if your team got a draft pick, something, let me know. Share your favorite memory of 2020 as it is going down to the end. We are almost at the end of 2020. First of all, can you believe it? Second of all, what a year. What a year. And if you're watching, if you can see the background there, we got, let me make sure I got my hand pointed the right direction. We got the Dodgers right here. We got Kobe right here, R.I.P. Kobe. We got my hands all mixed up. It's in reverse. But we got the Dodgers right there. We got the Chiefs right there. If you look down at the bottom, you can see March Madness was canceled, which that was wild. Shout out to Kingston Cole. Hello, how are you with that Georgia Bulldogs helmet right there? How you feeling about the Georgia season? We got Skinny P in the building. What's going on? We got Skinny P again. Says, you there? I don't know. DK Metcalf chasing down that Baker guy. Forgot. That was a big highlight. That was definitely a big highlight. But share your favorite memory of 2020 in sports, man. There was so many things that happened. So many things that happened. There's a lot to think about and a lot to name. But the Dodgers finally getting the chip, man. That was great. And I'm not a Dodgers fan, but they deserved it. Okay, I know it's it's no team technically deserves it, but if anybody deserved it, they deserved it. Let's bring in one of our guests, my man Courtney Harden. He's been doing some great shows, show after show after show, with some great guests. What's going on?
What's good, man? How you been?
Good, man. Good. Glad to get on. Feel like I've been on a little bit of a break, man. I start getting that itch. So I'm like, I gotta do something.
We know how that is, man. We take that itch. Even like for me, I've been doing like almost shows every other day or whatever, doing some Zoom shows, and I took the rest. I took last week off. I think I did 2 shows last week, and then I took off for the Christmas holiday. And I said, "Oh man, I got that itch again." I mean, that was only for like 4 days. so I said, let me jump on the Monday show with you, and I dropped another show earlier today. So I'm glad to be on with you again on Monday Reaction.
Awesome. All right, so we're talking about the 2020 year in sports. We should have 2 other people coming on. Anthony Thompson, also Nithin Ramachandra should be coming on here in just a minute. So we're gonna get this thing going even more. But so many things happened, in the year 2020. It's really like a flashback that we kind of have to do just to see how everything happened kind of in our minds. So let me give a couple of quick shout outs. We got Dirt Tracking 31 Gaming. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming through. He says you're in, I think, my recommendation or in by recommendation, I think. So thank you for coming through. Shout out to It's Miso. What's your favorite football team? He asks. I think he's asking me that. The Cowboys. And we're on a win streak.
Small winning streak.
Does not mean anything, so I don't want to get too excited. But let's talk about some of your favorite memories of 2020 in sports.
I know I was doing some research on this one. I said, because we knew there's so much that happened in this 2020 and such a unpredictable, very, I guess you could say, very up and down year with everything that went on. A lot of different devastation that happened during this time too, with COVID coming through and stopping life in general, not just sports, stopping life in general. And that's one of the the memories, I guess you could say, or what's for a recap of 2020. It stopped sports, like it literally stopped life and stopped sports. So that to me is one of the biggest stories in 2020, where you stop all major sports, all college sports, high school, and everything too. So I think, and then sports coming back months later, in an unprecedented way. I really believe I think that's to me the biggest storyline that's happened. I think another one, the devastating was all the deaths in 2020 as well from a lot of sports figures. I mean, David Stern. It started with David Stern, and then January, and that was one of them. Kobe Bryant. I mean, that was really devastating. That was the next month in February, and John Thompson, and there was so many others. I think that was a moment, really, really sad and devastating moment as well. But the Lakers, I mean, any other memories, like the Lakers winning the championship, LeBron and them and AD putting it together to win the championship for Kobe Bryant. They had that Mamba mentality. So that was their whole thing. And how they did it. So I props to them. Not a Laker fan, but props to them for doing that. LeBron getting his 4th ring, the way how it happened with the bubble. That was a success. The bubble with the sports coming back, with the NBA, the WNBA, Major League Soccer. There was so many, in the NHL. So they were able to finish their seasons throughout this unprecedented time. So those are just some off the top. And I guess my last one would be the Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls. That was during this whole time too. And when we were thirsting for something to watch on TV, they decided to move the Bulls docuseries up from June to May. And we were just, like I said, we were itching for something to watch, and that was just at the right time. And it was just great. I know we did so many recap shows of that series, and I watched it for the second time, and it's still really good. So the Bulls, and just seeing the behind the scenes of Jordan and Pippen and that whole Bulls dynasty, how that came all together and the behind the scenes and all that. I thought that was great. So those are some of the moments of 2020.
Yeah, definitely. And you're right. They moved that up, for that purpose, just because there was nothing going on. People were, itching to watch that. And yeah, we did a recap. So plug for BS3 Radio, go back and you can check out those reaction videos. We did one every single Monday, recapping it. Had my pops on, had my good friend Tyon Mack on there. Courtney was on there, Al High. We really had a good flow there. Let me read some comments here. I think Georgia's season was pretty good. They did good. He's got a Georgia Bulldog helmet, Kingston Cole. I think they only lost 2 games this year. He says, yo, big Cowboys fan, that's good. Let's keep this thing pushing, even though we will get knocked out in the first round. But, hey, the playoffs are the playoffs. Dirt Track 31 Gaming, the biggest moment was in NASCAR when the 6th car of Newman had one of the worst wrecks in NASCAR history. And I know he survived it, but I don't remember that one in particular. But a lot of other great sports moments, give us yours. Shout out to Luke Bowman, 8. He said, in my opinion, 2020 trash, good sports moments. So says Red J. Yeah, man, 2020 was a tough year as we talked about the death of Kobe. John Thompson, I mentioned Clifford Robinson with the headbands. Really, that was the first guy I seen that was rocking the headbands like so consistently.
Yeah.
He passed away as well. And it was funny, I just seen the documentary about him. He's got a marijuana dispensary that he was building. I seen it on this Netflix special, so that was really hard, to see with him passing. He's Luke Bowman says, I'm a Ravens fan. Ravens should be playing well, and we could say, I believe earlier this year, Lamar Jackson won the MVP. Wasn't that would have been earlier this year that he would have won it? I don't know, maybe last year. I don't know when they do the MVPs on.
I think it was earlier this year, 2020, because you even had look at the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. I mean, look at that. That was earlier this year. We forget, like 2020 just seems like a year that was. It just seemed like it's been 2 to 3 years, and it's so crazy how the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl earlier this year before everything went shutdown mode. So,
right.
Yeah.
Calvin. What's it to you? Thank you for coming through. He said, milk dud head. I don't know if you're talking to me, but I'll probably do have one. He said, you look like my 6th grade gym teacher. I don't know who you're talking to, but we got some shots fired here. But anyway,
like a troll.
That's all right. We got our first troll. That's a first for everything. Jordan the GOAT. Yes, man. That documentary to me showed Jordan on a level that I don't think we knew him. Jordan to me was one of these untouchable type players. Somebody that I would probably never talk to, somebody that I would never interview, but he gave us a detailed look into his mental and him just going at random guys on the team, him holding grudges for year after year after year. And that was to me one of the greatest things that we got from The Last Dance is being able to see his mental, see what his game in and game out vibe was, seeing footage that I don't remember seeing. And I didn't really pay that close attention like I do now, but there was so much that I think we learned about him and even about Rodman. To me, that was the biggest thing of The Last Dance, and we really got every possible thing out of that last year. And this was unheard of until they said, oh, we had footage. Until I seen that commercial, I didn't even know The Last Dance existed.
Yeah, and that's crazy because he said the Last Dance was actually being filmed during this, and I still remember when we were talking about it on our shows before, and we were like, we need this. And that's what, and now we see it came through, and look at it was one of the best docuseries we've ever seen, and I think it was such a great docuseries. So I'm glad that they definitely put that out, and it was just at the right time.
Yeah. We got a question here, which we're talking about the 2020 year in sports. So share your favorite moment. Also, we'll be continuing to talk about ours. We should have two other guests coming on. But what do you think about the Steelers being a bit too cocky? Now, number one, the Steelers have been undefeated for quite some time this year. What they went 11-0, and then they lost 3 straight games. Juju was doing that dance pretty much all year, but it got publicized, which that's one of the videos that is blown up on BS3 Radio on the YouTube channel. When he got lit up, I mean, you can't do that dance forever, and one team not going to say, "Oh, I'm gonna light you up." I don't care what point of the game it is. I'm gonna light you up. And I think it has caught up with him. Now, the Steelers are just one of those teams that not a lot of people truly believe them. I thought they were the real deal, but they got into a lot of close games throughout this year, and it caught up with them.
Yeah, and I think with the Steelers too, I believe that they might have just played. It's caught up to them now. You know what I mean? Like I think they've done so well, and they might have peaked too early. You never know, in the playoffs they could actually turn it around. But Big Ben looks old now. Like this guy now is starting to look like the cliff is now. He's coming off an injury too. He's coming off injury from last season. So yeah, they might have gotten too cocky. They're not going to beat Kansas City. So but they might have peaked a little too early, and I really believe that they're going to end up not. They're not going to. They may go to the AFC Championship, but I don't see it. I just see the Chiefs being head above shoulders above them at least. But I'm definitely not going in with Pittsburgh. So yeah, they might have peaked just a little too early.
Yeah. Let's bring in another member of BS3 Radio, Vinny Hardy. He has a show called Cats Talk Wednesdays. He's one of the newer shows, part of BS3 Radio. What's going on, Vinny?
Ben, Courtney, what's up, fellas?
Fine. Yeah, what's up, man? How you doing? What's going on, man?
Can't complain. Glad to be on with y'all. I've been trying to do it, but man, I've been having to go to work so early these mornings and didn't have to go in as early, so I'll finally be able to come on and still get a little bit of sleep after we done, man. So appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, definitely. So, man, just talking about the year in sports, man, 2020. It's been a wild year. Every single sport, and as you can see, let me make sure I point in the wrong direction. But the NCAA March Madness was canceled. As you can see, that was a wild thing. And to me, and Vinny, I'll have you share some of your favorite memories. But when they canceled March Madness, I was like, okay, this COVID thing is for real. Because if you talk about the amount of money that they make during that month, it would have to have been something catastrophic for them to cancel March Madness. And that to me was kind of like the red light or the glaring light that COVID-19 was real. Quick shout out to L. Bushman. He said, "What's up, fellas? Share your favorite 2020 moment as you guys are coming through." But go ahead, Vinny, share some of your top moments.
I'm with you on March Madness. Rudy Gobert mess with everybody's mics and playing like he, and that. But that's why you hear now, as crazy as it is, as many states is in the red and COVID's still off the charts, we can't miss another NCAA tournament. That's all. I'll be doggone if we ain't gonna have another one, because we devastated by how financially hard hit we were from missing last year. They don't care. We got to get to this tournament. If it's March, if it's May, we got to get that revenue back. So and then of course Kobe before all that. Everybody, that don't even seem like that was 2020.
Right.
Everything is upside down. Up is down, down is up. Y'all was talking about the Steelers. They, 11-0 now. They peaked too soon, like Courtney said. They didn't even have a bye week. Maybe that has something to do with it, because the Ravens had COVID and they got their schedule flip-flopped and all. But so it's been wild. Old timers, people older than us talking about, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. That lets you know what kind of year this has been.
Yeah. That's real, man. That's real. You know, the whole Kobe thing, it caught me off guard. I'm sure it caught a lot of people off guard, but when it happened, I didn't believe it. I had to go and do my research. I had to figure out like what's really going on. And you know, it's just weird. It's just weird to see, you know, kind of what happened. Luke Bowman says, "Yep, in 2020, but I'm a huge Kobe fan. I love to see the Lakers win it for him." And yeah, well, you know, winning it for Kobe was a big thing. And the Lakers I think they were going to win it regardless, just because they had LeBron, they had AD, they had Rondo, and Rondo came back healthy. And at that point, I was thinking, okay, there's no way they're going to lose this. And the writing was pretty much on the wall. The writing was on the wall. And that to me showed that the Lakers are going to win it. But that's definitely another tough, not tough, but another great memory of 2020. Let me see. Galaxy says, "I love your Juju dancing on logo video. That got me dying." yeah. And I got to make sure if you go to the video, I gave a shout out to the person that created it. It was on TikTok. Man, the TikTok stuff has been blowing up. That may be a 2020 story. I don't think TikTok was here in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
And it almost didn't make it wasn't supposed to make it through 2020 when it was supposed to get bought or sold or shut down, but it made it. TikTok was resilient.
Yeah. So, you know, when it comes down to it, man, TikTok really took over the world. I mean, like people doing stuff all over the world. The guy on the skateboard with the cran juice, and
some Fleetwood Mac.
I mean, hey, everybody was trying to get on TikTok. Not me though. That's one I'm not gonna do. You know, I tried Snapchat for a little while, and I was like, I can't. I only did it for the filters for my daughter, because my daughter likes the filters. That's the only reason why.
I haven't done TikTok either. I did Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm not on TikTok.
That's what it sounds old, but that's TikTok. That's what the kids is doing.
yeah, for the kids, right. Yeah, for the youngest. But yeah, I didn't do TikTok. I didn't even do Snapchat. I was like, my nieces and nephews, they do that. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stick with Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah. So many, man. It's so many trying to juggle.
Yeah, YouTube. It is.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Dirt Tracking 31 Gaming says Juju has more TikToks than his most passing yards in a game this year. 93 yards, 95 TikToks. Nice.
That's funny.
Luke Bowman said, "I did love watching Jake Paul knock out Nate Robinson. That was a memory from this year."
Yes.
That was a memory. And it started the Nate Robinson challenge. Like, that was the thing that blew up that night that happened. I'm like, first of all, what is this about Nate Robinson and what challenge? And then I finally found out, and I was like, come on. It's not right, but it was funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Like if you don't box for real, man, don't step in there thinking you can just knock somebody out without, if you ain't doing it like they doing it, if you ain't really in it like they in it, get yourself knocked out.
Yeah, don't play with it. Like, boxing is not a sport.
Boxing.
Exactly.
You can't play boxing, man.
Yeah, you can't treat it like a joke, because you get knocked out.
Right. Yeah. You got fighters like Conor McGregor who tried. Now, this is a professional fighter, tried to go into boxing, and he got embarrassed by Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Like, he got a little skill, and he's not, he's not a professional boxer. But you guys got like him in the MMA, and then you have like somebody like Nate Robinson is. I don't know if he tried to play boxing or not, but you're gonna end up getting hurt, seriously hurt, like he did.
Seriously, that's not a good thing.
I think Nate just thought he was going to go in there and Kimbo slice him right quick, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, right.
That ain't happening, man.
That's not what boxing is.
It's a hurt business, man.
Right. Exactly. Shout out to VZ. He says, "Do you think the Bills have a chance in the playoffs?" That's a great question. And the Bills blew up in 2020. Now we know that this division was wide open. Now I thought the Patriots were going to pick it up. I thought with them getting Cam, this is a new weapon for Belichick, but it just hasn't really panned out. And Buffalo is ran away with this division, and I gotta tip my hats to Buffalo, because every single year the question always was, can the Patriots do it again? And they've done it for so many years, and now it's not going to happen. So do they have a chance in the playoffs? Yes, but they're going to have to run into the Chiefs at some point in time, and I don't think they can stop them. But I'll go to you, Courtney.
Yeah, the Bills got a good chance. I mean, they're good. They're a really good team, and just watching them over this year, Josh Allen took that next step to become a real good quarterback, and he's proving it now. Like, he's especially beginning of the year, he was playing MVP football. Then he had that little slump couple games in the middle of the year, but now he's turning around. He's got weapons on the outside. They got a pretty good running game when it's going, and Josh Allen's athletic enough to run his own, and their defense is solid enough. So they have everything. They have all the pieces to make a strong run, and they could be the second best team in the AFC, probably behind the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, they got a real good chance in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, Vinny, what you say?
Yeah, they do, and Allen is young, and you didn't think he would kind of get to this point. The way he kind of started off rocky, and he's like turned himself into a really good franchise quarterback. They made the playoffs last year, so they got not a lot of experience, but they know now what it's like once they get there, and they'll be probably in better shape going in this year than they were last year. They were one and done last year. So now they know, we don't just want to get there. Now we want to get there and have a run and do some damage when we get there. So, saw them beat Pittsburgh the other day, took down New England in that division, held off the Dolphins in that division. So it's a changing of everything in that AFC North, so AFC East rather. So they could definitely, like you said, until they run up in the Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And they're not peaking too soon like Pittsburgh.
Right.
It's all coming together for them at the right time.
Pittsburgh was like that roller coaster where it's like tick, 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 tick. And then they get up to the top, and then they just they hit a nosedive and lose the game.
And Mike Tomlin tried to tell us, he said that after they beat Baltimore, this was terrible. We were unacceptable. He saw, he knew they wasn't playing well. He was trying to get out in front of it. And they, after a win, he was pissed. Yeah. And then they lost, and then they lost, and then they lost. And it's just, everybody, the whole receiving core got dropsitis. Can't nobody catch nothing. The running game. And Pittsburgh used to just smash you in the mouth and run over you. Right. Everybody remember Bettis and all those backs they had. The old clip, Bettis running over Urlacher that year when they was playing the Bears. And but now they just pass the ball all the time. This is the hardcore physical Steelers just tossing the ball around the yard without a running game. So they got to figure it out kind of quick. Maybe they can rest their starters in the last game of the season and kind of use that as a bye, and then go into the playoffs and maybe get that juju back.
Right, get that juju. Pun intended. Hey, let's bring on my man D'Anthony Thompson. Thank you for coming through tonight.
Yeah, man, I went to give me something to eat and kind of got caught up a little bit and lost track of time. But how long y'all been on? About 30 minutes?
Yeah, we've been on for about 30 minutes, 25 minutes almost. So yeah,
okay.
You good. Okay, cool. So we talking about our favorite, 2020 sports moments.
Yeah.
You got some off the top of the.
I'm gonna go another route. I'm gonna go basketball. When Kawhi Leonard, because I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan, when he joined LA Clippers, I hopped on that bandwagon 10 toes down. Him, PG. I was watching Clipper games. I became a Clipper fan, man, and we all know what ended up transpiring. But just that whole ordeal, man, opening up against LeBron them last year, winning, Having a game where I think the last couple games the Lakers won, and then seeing ultimately the collapse and the firing. The Clippers, man, to me, that's a big story. Like that whole thing was wild. Looking back on it, and people got fired. So that's probably my biggest story of the past year, to be honest.
Yeah, and that collapse, man, was catastrophic. The way that they should have played, they should have been in the, to me, it was penciled in that they were going to be in the Western Conference Finals, and they didn't even get there.
Yeah.
So, like, that collapse, obviously somebody had to get fired, and it ended up being Doc. Somebody had to go.
I tell you, Doc had to go, bro. Go ahead, though. I ain't even cut you. Go ahead.
I mean, you're right, though. I didn't want to believe it. I thought, hey, they give Doc one more year, but somebody got to get the axe, and it's not going to be Kawhi or Paul George. So,
See, but the thing about it is, though, it's no more excuses now. So, they just got beat by 50 the other day by Dallas.
Yeah.
And, and the thing about it is, it's no more people to blame. Paul George is no more injuries. I told you this, Ben. I said Paul George is going to have to take some responsibility. He's going to have to step up and be a good player. And after this 50-point loss, here he is saying again, the loss is on me. Well, of course. What are you going to do next game? So that's a whole issue with him, though.
You're objective. You're an objective Clippers fan. I like that. I was wondering when you said you're a Clippers fan, I was wondering how you're going to come in, talk about the collapse.
Really a Kawhi. I'm a Kawhi fan.
Okay.
And since he went to the Clippers, I jumped on a bandwagon.
Okay.
I'm a Kawhi fan. Let me clarify that. All right.
You keeping it real, though. You keeping it real because you mentioned how the Clippers beat the Lakers to open the season last year. They won the first 2 games of the regular season. Well, they just beat them to open this year to start this season. But ain't nobody taking that serious now. Ain't nobody going to drink the Clippers Kool-Aid until they get to the conference finals and go head up with the Lakers and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, we need a full body of work this year. We got a full year, so there's no excuses. No, we didn't have chemistry. No, none of that. You got a full year this year, so you better work it out.
Tell Paul George to quit saying that they use him like J.J. Redick and Bray Allen. Come on, Paul. Ain't nobody using you off of pin downs and running you off screens like you Reggie Miller and Rip Hamilton. Quit that, Paul. Quit. Just stop.
Right. And the funny thing is, I was gonna say that Doc Rivers said the same thing. Like, dude, Ray Allen's a Hall of Famer. like, don't you want half of that career, Paul George? Like, come on, man. This guy hit big shots in champion finals. You know what I mean? I would be like, yeah, I'll be Ray Allen. I'm good. I'm good with that.
When
his thing is mental. His thing is mental, man. Paul George, totally. I watched the game and I said this, fellas. Paul George has a top 10 game, meaning he could be a top 10 player. That's how smooth his game is. It's something mental, man, and I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When Dame sent him home, he gonna be in the press conference talking about that was a bad shot. Man, come on, man.
Right.
Yeah.
How bad is
blown out by?
It's only bad when you miss the shot. When you make it though, it's all good. You could have said that, but no. All right,
and Dame's done that to a couple people like that, and he practiced that shot for a living. So it's not a bad shot for him. You know what I mean? And then Paul George, he needs to stop saying it's on me with 50 points. It's not a big deal. Okay, it's going to be a big deal when you get taken out in the playoffs again in the semifinals, and then you could be saying that same thing.
Yeah, and then the biggest thing is this was 2020 when he left. When he left OKC, to me that was kind of mind blowing because he just signed that extension. Him and Russ just had this big party. Russ was like, "Oh, I got a new BFF. Nobody's ever gonna beat me now." And then Paul George at the first minute was like, "I'm going. Like what I need to stop it. Whoever called me or whatever." So that was major. And then I never thought Russ was gonna leave. I never thought he would have left OKC, which I don't know if that was his choice or not. But I said it like a year before. I was like, Russ is all like, no, I want to be here forever. But the minute there's a good opportunity or the minute something comes up, he's gonna bounce just like KD did. And he bounced just like KD did. Now he didn't go to the Warriors, but he did leave. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Russ being a little contradictory.
Well, I'll take a stab at it first. I don't really compare it to KD, Ben, because Russ played a little longer there. I think he gave it his all, and I think honestly they run their course there. I think the thing with KD, man, it was you're gonna leave and then you're gonna go to the opponent. It just looked bad. The whole opposite looked really, really bad. I think to me this year with Westbrook, man, I really don't think it looked that bad. I think a change of scenery was good, man. It looked they got Chris Paul, but I think overall they want to go younger since they got a ton of picks. So I don't look at that as a bad thing for where they're going in the future. OKC, because they're going younger. So at Westbrook, you got this big contract. You're not as useful anymore a little bit. We got to ship you out. That's the nature of the business.
Yeah. And it's a business at the end of the day. If you haven't learned anything from sports, it's a business. So yes, your Cam Newtons can get released. Yes, your star quarterbacks can get traded. Yes, things like that can happen. Your star running back can get traded, whatever it may be. Everybody is available except Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's not.
Hey. So if
if
Joe Montana, Michael Jordan, and Emmitt Smith can't finish where they started, ain't nobody safe.
Exactly.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
VZ said my favorite sports moment of 2020 was the whole Tracy McSorley TikTok thing. I don't remember that. I don't know if anybody else seen that.
I don't.
Well, let's.
Is that the Trace McSorley?
That's the Penn State
quarterback.
Oh, no, Ravens.
Yeah.
He did go to Penn State though.
He did go to Penn State.
Yeah.
But
he did.
I didn't see his TikTok though.
Yeah, and I'm not on TikTok, so but thank you for that. Shout out to Taryn Rodriguez. Thank you for coming through. If Juju was would you take his phone or not? It says want a slice of pizza with the question. I wouldn't take his phone. He's a grown man. I'm not gonna take his phone. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. But I am gonna say, don't do that dance on the field any longer. You can do it in the locker room with the bros and all that, but don't do that on the field again because you put the target on us.
Yeah, and another thing with him is like, have you accomplished anything yet to do these things? Like, you know what I mean? Like, T.O. was doing some of these things and all that, but this guy was an accomplished Hall of Fame kind of wide receiver. Juju's in his third year, I believe. So it's almost like, come on, man, just get some weight up first before you start doing some of these antics and things like that, But it's a different game. It's a different situation with players now. So yeah.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it to begin with, man. I mean, it looks really goofy. You haven't been dominant since Antonio Brown been gone, to be honest. Now, nobody talking about that. But it looks silly to me, the whole thing, man. Come on, dude. Grow up.
And Claypool done kind of overshadowed you this year. If we're being honest.
Why you doing all that dancing and gaming? Your partner about to pass you. So yeah.
And DeAndre Johnson over there too. He's doing his thing too, because I've been playing him in fantasy football, and Ben don't look for Juju like that as much. So
And he's been looking for Ebron, in the red zone too. So like his touches are starting to diminish, week after week after week. Taryn Rodriguez says Nate got put to bed, didn't even get any milk and cookies. The comment section is booming tonight. They did get a pretty good job against the Chiefs. I was surprised when they did that good. Not really a Bills fan, but I'd love to watch them this year. We were talking about the Bills, and I believe it's going to come to a head where the Bills are going to play the Chiefs in the playoffs, and that's really the matchup I want to see, because I think they match up so great, offense and defense. And now I'm gonna give Mahomes the edge up at quarterback, and I'm gonna give the running game obviously to the Chiefs. But if you look at just the way the Bills have been playing week after week after week, they've been figuring out ways to win. Been playing tough D. If anybody is had them in fantasy, if you're playing in a year league, more than likely you you might add the Bills at some point. So I think that matchup is going to come to the head eventually. I think it's going to be a good one. Let's see some other comments. Rest in peace to the third place teams from the AFC West South that has to play the Patriots next year when the Patriots have a full team.
I'm not so sure.
Who's going to be on the Patriots next year? That's the question. Who's going to be the starting QB?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah. They're going to have to retool.
For real this time. They've been half retooling for years. Now they got to really do it for real.
And see, this kind of points to, okay, was Tom Brady really the catalyst up there at that of New England? I mean, they lost a lot of players, but once he left, the whole thing seemed like it failed. So, I think that's an interesting scenario because before the season started, it was who's going to do better, Brady or Belichick, And it's just interesting to see them fall apart like this. I didn't see this coming. Even with their lack of talent, I still didn't see this coming for New England.
Yeah.
And the Patriots started off better, and you think, Belichick getting the better of it because Tampa Bay was struggling, and then it just switched as the season went on. It just switched.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It definitely
coming. Playoff Brady's coming. He's coming.
He's feeling it right now. He's in sync. Gronk's getting catches. AB looks like AB again. I mean, it's a scary time if you're playing the Bucks coming up.
Because he went in there and flexed on Arians about the whole AB situation because all through the summer, AB was like, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, Arians was like, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna fit. It ain't gonna work. And then, Brady walked in the office and just flexed on him. Next thing you know, AB in there. Yeah. He's staying in my house. He gonna go ahead and sign with this team, Bruce. That's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Hey, Brady say I got the rings, man, and I'm trying to get some more rings before I get out of here. But what you say? I'm a champ. I come down here to win now. Hey, I ain't got no problem with them doing it either.
Yeah. Pull a rank on him.
Put them rings on that table and say, look what I got.
Right. He was like, I'm Tom Brady. I think you know who I am. So let's go in and just let this thing go. And
this how it's going to be.
Yeah, AB, come on in here. Sign this contract.
Yes. Do this 1 year.
Yeah, Tom Brady had his people already draft the contract. I was like, I brought it with me. Go and get that. All right, we got a question from Want a Slice of Pizza. Man, love the name, especially with the SpongeBob logo there. Do you think if the Cowboys get it together in the next two games, they can make it to the playoffs? If they win this last game, yes, they will be in the playoffs because nobody else wants to win that division. Now, it doesn't mean anything, though. So even if they go to the playoffs, they're going to get knocked out the first round. Mm-hmm. We got me and Vinny are both Cowboys fans, so I want to get your take on this.
And we still got to have Washington lose, and then they got to handle business against the Giants first. Yeah, and Philadelphia, I mean, they ain't got no reason to show up. I mean, they're not gonna want to be there. They ready to get on out of there. I'm not sure they're gonna show up and try to play the spoiler. So they're really gonna be motivated. And look, I'm surprised they kind of put this little mini winning streak together. To be honest, they beat Minnesota, and I didn't see that one coming. Then they lost a few. Like you said, if they do win this division at 7-9. We've seen this before when Seattle beat New Orleans and Marshawn, Stephon, and Tracy Porter. But we ain't as good as that Seattle team was that year. We better off just retooling this offensive line, getting some secondary help because the defense was atrocious. It hadn't been this bad since the expansion year in 1960. You had to pull up stats from year one of the franchise existence to find a defense this bad. So I don't see them making a sustained run. If they win, the likely matchup will be, we just talked about it, hosting Tampa Bay. So I just don't I don't see them beating the Bucs, even if they get to host them at AT&T.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it going anywhere. I think the smartest thing to do, would have been to tank, but I don't see that in them. So they're going to go ahead and round out this year. I think Dak's that's a headlining story, man. Dak going down with that injury. That to me was another heartbreaker of 2020. It couldn't have happened to a bad thing. Couldn't have happened to a great person. I mean, like this guy goes, in and out every single week. You don't hear nothing about him in the news. All you hear is about him taking care of his grandmother. You hear about him talking about his mom. Now, not to say that Dak don't hang out, but Dak don't get caught up in whatever he's doing. So that was a heartbreaker for 2020, man. Seeing Dak go down like that. I don't know if you guys got anything you want to add on to that.
Yeah, that was he bet on himself. He was putting up crazy numbers. People can nitpick and say, well, it's because they were behind because the defense was so bad. It was still, you saw what he was doing before he went out to the Giants. You saw Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, guys in his same age bracket and market value wise get paid, and Dak should have been getting his, and then he gets injured before he can get it. So, and look, I'm looking through Cowboys lenses, but what happened to Carson Wentz now? Dude ain't even starting no more. I know you're an Eagles fan, Courtney. I ain't trying to throw shade, but I'm just saying. Look, Carson got his bag, and Dak should have got his, and so that was tragic to see him to go against the Giants, and then Jason Garrett, the one out there who kind of helped him get to where he is, the first one there helping him until the trainers get the card over there. It was just a sad situation that day, man.
Yeah, that was a heartbreak.
Could come down to the division could come down to the Giants and Cowboys too.
Right.
In the last game of the year.
If it's a win or go home type game, I wish Jason Garrett was coaching Washington. We've seen how he did for us all them years. We just needed to beat Philly, to beat the Giants, to beat the Eagles to get in. We've seen us go over with Jason Garrett.
Right.
Winning you get in. Not with Garrett. We was clapping our way home every single time.
Right.
And I've never seen this division this bad, I don't think. And it's been bad before, but this year, the NFC East, and it's usually competitive. It's usually a competitive division. You're somewhat so. But this year, I've never seen it this bad. You got the crap show in Washington. Their organization is just trash. You got the Giants with Jones at quarterback. I don't know if he's the answer. You got us with Dak. I think if we get Dak, a healthy Dak next year, Cowboys got a chance to win a division. Winning more so with a really good record. Because the rest of the division is so trash.
Yeah, I agree. And the biggest question is, what happens with Carson Wentz? Somebody posed that question. What if Philly gets rid of Carson Wentz, which I think is a possibility. But you talk about this contract, you talk about the history. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that easy of an answer of just, ship him to Indy. Courtney, I gotta get your take on this.
As a realistic Eagles fan, which I am, I do love Carson Wentz. I'm not gonna lie. I've always felt the talent was there, but as you said, it's not an easy answer. It's not because the fact that, okay, we're going to start Jalen Hurts. We've seen a little bit of Jalen Hurts, but it's not that automatic because Carson Wentz got that big contract. How do you move that big of a contract? He's not going to be a second string quarterback making almost 50, 60 million left on his deal. That's just not going to work. They're going to have to get something. And I don't know how much value Carson Wentz has anymore. He's not worth a first round pick anymore. Not the way he regressed, not the way he's played so bad. I mean, yes, he played really bad this season, but it wasn't all on him. It wasn't just his play. It was a lot of factors. I still think it's coaching. I think some of it is Wentz. A lot of it's Wentz. I think it's coaching. I think it's front office. I think they didn't have the right talent around him at all. I think they were banged up. There was a lot of different things of factors of the Eagles season. It was just a roller coaster. When they started losing, I'm like, keep losing. It's just one of those things. It's like, they had no direction. They had no direction. Doug Peterson's calling these type of games. And then when Jalen Hurts comes in, he tailors his system to what Jalen Hurts is is capable of doing. You should have did that with Carson Wentz. Should have been running the football at least to help Wentz out. You know, you had multiple games, but he wants to keep passing. So I have no clue what they're going to do, because I don't think they're going to be able to move Carson Wentz. I actually think for real he's going to be the day one starter next year, just because of that talent. I just don't see him getting traded, but we'll see.
Interesting. That's interesting. You know what team that I don't know if the numbers and the logistics of it fits or whatnot, but the Patriots. I don't know what they're going to do with Cam, but that to me, that'd be a team. I mean, and the Patriots kind of in the same boat as Indy. You know, you getting these quarterbacks, you're gonna have to eventually draft one. I think it's not a lot of starting jobs for Carson Wentz, and I'm a Wentz fan too. I thought that Wentz and Dak was neck and neck, even though Wentz get a lot of hate. But you know, before the season started, there was a lot of issues coming out of Philly, that it was some leadership issues. And I remember when I talked about that, I said I think that's a big problem, because players on your own team question the quarterback leadership. That means it's going to be a divide in the locker room eventually. And that's what happened. It's like people coming out saying, well, when they switch to Jalen Hurts, it's a new energy. Players are playing hard and all this type of stuff. Well, if that's the case, then y'all need to probably get rid of Wentz, Carson right now. So I don't know if it's a place on the market for him to start in the whole league, to be honest. Jacksonville's going to get them a quarter, maybe if they're going to sit their first rounder. Maybe Jacksonville or something, but he don't have a lot of options. And then he got that big contract.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah, and it's mental. His mechanics are off. There's just something there. And like you said, there's been that locker room dissension, the divide. You know, the veterans. They some of them do like him. You know, Fletcher Cox and Kelsey and Zach Ertz. I mean, Zach Ertz was his best man at his wedding. So, you know what I mean? So it's all these things. So the veterans actually like Carson Wentz, and they like what he brings. I mean, he is a talented quarterback. It's just there was something missing. Like it was, I can't pinpoint it. As you said, when Jalen Hurts comes back, when he came in, there was all this energy. The young guys loved Jalen Hurts. I mean, he was a proven winner in college. He proved that he can actually play in the NFL, just a short sample size. But he's young, still young. So do they go that route? Carson Wentz maybe needs to go somewhere else so he can be rebuilt, maybe. Because I know the Eagles don't want to get rid of him, and he goes somewhere else and he starts winning, and they're like, man, we should have just kept him. Maybe we should have got rid of Doug Peterson. Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of factors. It's going to be an interesting season for the Eagles.
But I'm going to tell you something really quick, Ben. And I told you a couple shows ago, and I know it don't look like this, but don't be surprised if Philly and the Brain Trust don't really trust Jalen Hurts. Don't be surprised. I know it looks like, don't be surprised if they don't fully trust him, because I don't know if they really trust him seriously.
Yeah. I mean, it's they're in a really interesting situation, because it's weird to see Wentz on the sideline, and then him looking at Jalen, and I'm sure that Carson has probably more of the ear of the upper management and everybody than Jalen does. Yeah. Jalen just got there. So, you got a good point. Let's bring in. Let's keep this party going. Let's bring in.
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, brother?
Let's go.
And my phone going low, Ben. So if I have to exit, man, I just want to for sure get on. I don't know how long we're gonna be back on. So if it go low, yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you for coming on.
Another Cowboys fan.
You deep in here today, Courtney.
I guess so.
Sorry, I'm late. So.
Oh, you good? You good? So we're talking about the memories, the sports memories of 2020. Share some that you have.
My memories is the Lakers winning the championship for Kobe. That's one on my list. Number 2 is the Cowboys beating the Eagles this weekend.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's the highlight, man. Knocking them out of the playoffs.
That's right. That might be the highlight. That's a highlight of you guys' season, probably. Because you lose this week and be on the couch.
Eliminate the Eagles. Eliminate them Eagles.
Number 3, I would say, starting my podcast I would say starting my podcast in the beginning of the pandemic. I started this podcast, and obviously it's growing. And the last memory I would say 2020 is having Isaiah Thomas on my show, the Bad Boy Pistons. So
that's big.
Yeah,
that's big.
Yeah,
that's major right there. We all,
hey,
yeah,
you Stephen A. Smith.
we're working on it. We're working on it.
Killing it, man. You've come in and just blazing. So I got so much respect for you, Nathan. Just what everything you've done during this time.
Yeah.
So a couple other memories. The bubble, man. The bubble.
Yeah.
Not only did we have one bubble, we had multiple. We had NBA, we had WNBA. Major League Baseball finally figured it out after they had the Miami COVIDs and all the other teams that had outbreaks.
Cardinals.
I mean, once they figured it out, and the bubble was successful. Go ahead, Anthony.
When I think of the bubble, I got to start out by saying I have to tip my hat to LeBron James.
Yeah.
17th year last year, I think, or was it 16th? I want to say 17th. Maybe 16th. Yeah, last year. And that dude, man, LeBron James last year, he showed me that he's beating Father Time right now. Even before the bubble, up into the bubble, they were out for a long time. I've even heard, it was whispers, well, is this going to hurt LeBron? Because we know he spends a lot of money on his body, but he's an older guy. For him to come in and show that leadership, get that ring in that bubble, man, I think he needs a lot of credit. So number one, we got to tip our hats to the Lakers who performed in the bubble. That was interesting, man. I think it was hard on a lot of players. A lot of guys said from a mental health standpoint, it was tough being away from their families. As fans, I was happy to see basketball back. And if they could do it again, I will want to see it. Where I'd rather basketball than no basketball. But it was interesting to me. It just showed me the humans were adaptable, man, because it was funny, it was weird, but it worked to me for the circumstances that we're in.
Yeah, true. Courtney, were you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say the same thing. Like with the NBA and the WNBA, the wobble, they trademarked that too. So shout out to the WNBA and then the wobble. They finished their season. NHL, they did their thing in the bubble. So and then plus you got to think there was a lot of social unrest too. That was a big thing going on with everything. And, they're the protesting. And remember, none of the athletes wanted to play in the bubble because of all that, the social unrest and things like that. But they got it together. They boycotted, a couple games, and they hashed it out and said, look, we're going to use our platform and we're going to put a lot of different things against social unrest and all these things and protesting and all these things. So I thought that was a huge story as well for police brutality. And then 4 years ago, Colin Kaepernick was saying this 4 years ago, and and now all the leagues are trying to come together and do some work. So to the NBA, WNBA, NFL is trying to do it now, and NASCAR. That was big with Bubba Wallace. So a lot of those stories I think was good for with 2020. Yeah,
definitely. And I think too, when the NBA did it, actually NHL did it too. Now I'm trying to figure out who did it first. Was it the NBA or was it the NHL?
That's a good one. I'm not sure.
I think it was the NHL. I think
NHL was first.
Yeah, NHL
first.
So the NHL did it first. NBA did it. Major League Baseball, they're a little slow, like they are in everything. They're so like old. It take forever, but they finally figured it out. But to me, that just showed like we will watch sports in any atmosphere. It doesn't matter. Grass, not grass. If they would have played football indoors, if they would have changed the league to arena football and it was still NFL players, we would still watch it because we all love the game. We all love sports. We all love the NFL. We love games. So the bubble, that was a major thing, when it came down to sports memories. I think also, we already talked about The Last Dance, so that we kind of already touched on that. But anybody else have anything that we have not shared yet that they wanted to add?
UFC. Remember, they were one of the first sports. One of the first. Yeah, they were one of the first sports to when everything canceled. They tried to get Fight Island, and Dana White was like, we're gonna have fights. We're gonna make fights, and they had a pretty successful run. So I got to give shout out to Dana White and UFC. Actually putting fights since 8, and even till today. So.
I think UFC came back first, right? Out of all the other sports.
You're probably right. I don't think they. I don't know if they ever stopped.
Yep.
They never.
Yeah. They did. They got stopped for like 3 weeks, and then they said we're gonna put out fights.
I think another big story, man. Maybe a little hoops. Zion.
Oh, Zion.
That was really huge, man. and to be honest, he fulfilled expectations. And you don't always see that. So Zion, Ja Morant, a couple of the young gun rookies to me was a big surprise. But Zion especially, man, to see Zion come in, bullying grown men, that was pretty impressive to see.
True. Let's get to some comments as we're talking. We already kind of talked about Pittsburgh. Do they have a chance? I would say they do. Nathan, since you didn't get a chance to answer this one, what was your thoughts on Pittsburgh?
Hell no, they're not going. They're not winning the Super Bowl. I don't think they got they're struggling. I know they went 11-0, but they're struggling right now, and I'm really concerned that they're usually the Steelers love to run the ball, but they've been throwing the ball more lately, which is concerning to me because. They're a much better team. They're like the Dallas Cowboys where we like to run the ball. So Pittsburgh is like a run versus offense. So, but to be honest, in the playoff game, especially facing the Chiefs or some other great AFC team, they need to run the ball and be time conservative. So I think my concern for the Steelers coming into the playoffs is the offense, but their defense will always be there. I love their defense, but the offense is just a little bit concerning for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Dirt Tracking 31 says when the Clippers get to the semifinals and choke like usual, laugh out loud. Yeah, that was definitely a memory.
Yeah, we talked about that one too. Yep.
About that one. Cowboys got a chance at the playoffs. We just got to beat the Giants. The whole Washington loses again. Does it mean anything? No. It does mean a playoff. I mean, whatever. You don't get anything from I'm assuming you get a bonus, but other than that. We talked about Philly and Carson Wentz. Maybe Belichick will pick him up. I don't know about their cap space. Do not ever in all of our entire lives underestimate Belichick. Right. He'll be working on this right now.
No, I can see that though. See, remember what I said earlier? I can actually see that though. I can see Belichick taking the chance on a guy like that, and maybe still drafting the quarterback. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, at this point on this game that was just on, the first time ever I seen Belichick throw a clipboard. Like he this is new. This is new for Belichick. Belichick's not like one of these guys that is used to losing. I'm sure he is masterminding some type of some type of potion where he can, have something happen. The other story of 2020 is when will sports return? Man, we had this drought of we were talking about The Last Dance on these episodes. We were talking about all types of stories. I was talking about what movies I was watching on my show because sports was going on. And so the story was when is college football coming back? When is Major League Baseball coming back? College football, that's an interesting story of 2020 because some SEC and ACC was like, we're just gonna play conference games and we don't care. Like if you like, just like what was that? The quote from Rocky. If he dies, he dies. That was basically their motto. If we die, we die. So that was the story. When we'll make, and then ACC and SEC was like, we're just going to run with it. Other conferences were a little shy. Later on, we come to find out that they want to jump in, and then that's how we got Ohio State with 5-0, and that's how we got USC and Oregon in a bowl game at like 3-3 and 1-3.
Hey, the Pac-12 dropped the ball. Let's just get that out the way. The Pac-12 and the Big Ten dropped the ball. And that's why they looking like they looking. I give a lot of kudos to the SEC, specifically Texas and some of those teams that allow some fans to come back. Some people might have not liked it, but man, let a few fans in and space them out and social distance. I mean, I think I commend the SEC and I commend A&M for doing that. And I think the other conferences dropped the ball, man. Those kids came out and said, we desperately want to play. Okay, if y'all do, let's put in healthy measures and let's play. And to me, those other conferences dropped the ball.
I agree. Vinny, you want to add on to that?
Look, the SEC, man, the slogan, it says it all. It just means more. So they was about to play some football down here. No matter what, it was about to get it in down here, and they did. For the most part, and Alabama went 10-0 regardless. I'm a Kentucky fan from Kentucky. They played all 10 of their games. They didn't have any postponements. There was some teams that had some issues. Vanderbilt was struggling with it before the season even started, so they were decimated by the time the season ended. And Missouri just had their bowl game canceled with Iowa in the Music City Bowl because of COVID. So you had some hiccups. South Carolina got hit really bad, but at the end of the day, just like March Madness, they're gonna do it this year or when 2021 comes. Same thing with the SEC football schedule. They were gonna get a season in some kind of way.
Yeah. For me, I'm just happy that we made it to the college football playoffs. I can't this Friday. I mean, this Friday is gonna be off the chains, off the hooks. Everybody needs to be fired up and pumped up for this. Especially, obviously, we're living in a different circumstance, but I think 2021 Friday, January 1st, will bring some positivity with the college football playoffs, and I think everybody will look up to that. And one memory, one bright spot that happened though. I want to give a big shout out to Vanderbilt football team for giving Sarah Fuller to be the first, to kick a field goal and kick the kickoff in the Power 5 conference game. So big shout out to Sarah. Big shout out to the football team, and that I think that's the most memorable thing we will see in a long time in 2020. I think Sarah Fuller. Kudos to her, and I love the way women in sports is going right now.
Yeah, that's for real, because I've never seen that before, and that takes guts, man. It's going to be a story. Some people are going to make fun of you, some people are going to love it, some people on the team going to look at you weird. But you came in there and she made a couple field goals. I don't know what her
hey, did she kick it off a tee?
I don't think so.
But that was a cool story though. Yep.
Hey,
one thing I gotta think too. I'm going back. Y'all talking about how MLB is a little bit slow to react. Well, we saw Rudy Gobert rubbing microphones when COVID first hit.
Yeah.
How we get to the World Series? Yeah. How we get to the World Series with Game 6 and Justin Turner tests positive and get to play in the game?
Yeah.
We saw how Donovan Mitchell was looking at Gobert sideways when he was doing what he was doing. If I'm a member of the Dodgers, look, I know he's been on the team and he been battling with us. But if he tests positive and then come back out on the field, and I got my wife and kids out there, and he come back positive with no mask, I'm like, bruh, Look, I know you want to celebrate with us, but hey, that just wouldn't fly with me. And that's one thing I'm gonna remember from 2020. I mean, if I'm the dude that brought the Chevy out for him to win the MVP, and I get COVID because Justin Turner come back, I'm like, I just that's one thing that just kind of stood out to me. How's baseball that slow on look you positive? You can't play today, but we test positive and still play to the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Before we realized that, so that was sketchy.
Yeah, and then he was in the dugout the whole time, right? I don't think he ever went. He never went into the clubhouse. He was just sitting there with his mask on, like, let's go, guys. Yeah.
I know you part of the team. You a key part of the team, but dude, hey, you just tested positive.
Yeah, you should have been home.
Don't give COVID to me and my little 2-year-old out here who was happy that we won. You got to go on and.
Yeah,
that's just me though. I don't know.
Yeah, he should have been quarantining, man, for real.
Yeah,
like you said, you out there that being they call super spreader. It's like, come on, man, you can't be doing this. I know you want to be out there with your teammates and stuff, but you're gonna get that. You're gonna get a World Series ring too. So just be safe.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna always remember that from 2020.
And I think his wife had no mask on either, right? His wife,
right?
Yeah,
he kissed him.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I get it. He just won the World Series.
Yeah,
but like you can have a whole year to celebrate.
Yeah,
rub it in, to have parties and do whatever else you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We got a question from Green.
Durant or LeBron.
Durant or LeBron, both in their prime, 1-on-1. I think that's 1-on-1.
1v1.
I'm going LeBron, man. The muscle. Like I like KD, but KD is about the same size he was at Texas.
Yeah.
He done gained about 5 pounds in Texas. and LeBron has only gotten bigger, stronger, better, faster. He's got no, to me it's no doubt LeBron. I don't know what you guys think.
Is this just best player, or is this one-on-one just one-on-one on the court? Like, because if it's one-on-one on the court, I might have to go with KD just because of the weaponry he has of scoring, man. Like, Kevin Durant could score any against anybody. It don't even matter. Inside, outside, but he's got a handle. He could get it to the hole. He's one of the best scorers we've ever seen. So if it's just one-on-one, I will let KD will probably say, I'm going to just let LeBron shoot. Just let him shoot, because that's still the weakness of his game. He's gotten better, but that's still the weakness of his game. You want him being a jump shooter. But Kevin Durant, I mean, one-on-one, I'm taking KD one-on-one. But if you're saying greatest of all time, then LeBron's better than Kevin Durant to me.
Yeah. It sounds like the question is posed at one-on-one. Like, would you have both of them in their prime?
Yeah.
And LeBron is at a long prime. Like, that's a whole conversation for another day, man. LeBron's prime has been from the minute he stepped in the league to now.
Yeah.
Like, but Vinny, what you say?
I think I would lean LeBron just a little bit, just like you said. His prime. I remember watching. He was back when high school games first started being televised. Okay, let's see what this dude from Akron is all about.
Right.
And then the first game against Sacramento as a rookie, 25, 8 and 7 or whatever, and been doing it ever since. And I'm like, well, what happened when you run up on a guy like Karl Malone and some grown men? Hey, it didn't matter. He been doing it for 18 years. I think I would. He would just bully KD eventually and just kind of wear him down. I know KD can just shoot over him and score from anywhere, but I think LeBron would find a way to. He beat him 10-9 or something if they was going to 10. I think
it'd be a close one.
Something like that. Yeah, it'd be something like that. Yep. Either way, it'd be something like that. 10-9, 11-10, something like that.
All right, Nathan.
For me, if it was 2K, I would go with KD. But if it's, playing with LeBron against KD like a 1-on-1 and 2K, and you know how they have those backstreet courts in 2K, so I would go with KD there. But if it's in real life, LeBron, because obviously his strength and size. I think KD he won't overcome that, and obviously LeBron will power through in the front with the inside game, and I'm gonna go with LeBron.
Okay. And that was a great question too. That was a great question from you.
I might have to tweet that tomorrow as a debate question.
Yeah, might as well. Daniel Pearson says Curry all day, Curry the GOAT, Warriors 2021, Curry for MVP.
Hey.
Warriors fan.
I don't think he a Curry fan. I don't believe that.
All day, Curry all day. A couple other stories.
I like Curry too.
Yeah, a couple other stories I wanted to mention. HBCUs, man, taking it to another level. Deion getting the job at Jackson State.
Yep.
Other coaches going to HBCUs, not just to go there, but to help build HBCUs, give them that prowess and that recognition that they deserve. The other one was Maya Moore, taking off 2 years, right? Took off this past year, helped the guy Jonathan Irons. Also, as take it to another level, they got married.
Yep.
I mean, like what a better fairy tale, story that is.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
those are good stories.
Speaking of Jackson State University, I had the women's head coach on my show, Tamika Reed. She's the women's head coach for the women's basketball team, and she said that the revenues are going up since Deion Sanders took that job, and obviously it's not about the revenue, but it's about the culture and changing the school, helping these kids out, students out, become a better community. So I think that school they're heading into the right direction, and I love what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's great to see because I went to HBCU, I went to Morehouse, so I know what HBCUs are. I think people see them as it's a historically black college. The honesty is they don't get the money. That's the reason why you don't see HBCUs more than likely on TV. But I think if you're bringing headlining coaches there, that's going to bring headlining talent, which that's going to bring the cameras and the people that are going to watch it and going to put it on TV. So it's starting to build up, and I think that's a great thing. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about the injuries of 2020, which we had so many. Saquon going down, that was the first game. The 49ers with the amount of injuries they had, which was crazy. Players out with COVID. I mean, like the injury list was so long that it's unbelievable. I mean, the amount of injuries that we've seen in all sports.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah. Again.
KD's just coming back. Yeah.
Dak Prescott. Now Spencer Dinwiddie now from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Yeah.
Could never get healthy either. Back and forth on and off the And then his emergence of his backup though. Mike Davis.
That's a tough dude, man. Yeah.
Joe Burrow also.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas. That whole Michael Thomas story was crazy too. Injury, then he got into a fight. Then they were like, "You're not gonna let him play." Now I don't know if he's still out or is he playing?
Supposed to be back for the playoffs, possibly, but they go. Yeah, that's who knows.
Yeah. LSU going from in 1 year going from national champions to the lackluster at the SEC. That's a huge drop. Now they lost so many guys. I mean,
players and coaches.
Yeah. Yep. Jefferson.
And Chase opted out.
Yeah. So many.
Yeah, DeMar Chase, the best receiver probably in the country, maybe. He's right there with Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
But he opted out, so yeah.
What's up?
Shout out to KC Ingram, one of my good friends, XY Radio, man. He does a great job. Help me get into podcasting. So
know everybody, Ben.
Hey,
He helped
I've
a
been
lot
doing
of
it for-
people,
I've been
right?
doing it for so long. I met so many people along the way, man.
Man.
It's been great. Man, 2020 has been taking this whole thing to another level, man. So it's been great. Let's see. I'm just Googling stuff to see. But Alex Smith.
I got a couple.
Speaking of Alex Smith, I want to talk about Alex Smith here real quick, man. This guy is a warrior. He overcame a lot, 17 surgeries. What some players don't even come back from 17 surgeries, and this guy, he's a definition of hard work. Comeback, like I said, like Courtney said, comeback player of the year. I think he's definitely be comeback player of the year. And then seeing him come back his first game, his family in the stands, his wife and his kids being there. That story is such an inspiration to watch. And man, Washington football team, what a great story they are. If they don't make the playoffs, but Ron Rivera is another one. Trying to fight cancer and coach and being able to coach at the same time. Man, Alex Smith and Ron Rivera, I think they're the two most inspiring stories of 2020.
I agree, man. Cancer and all of those surgeries. And like, we didn't talk about this, but Washington changing their name.
Yeah.
That happened this year. And with them, the backlash that they've been getting for the past, I don't know how many years. And the minute FedEx said and Nike said, "Oh, we're about to back away," they were like, "Go ahead and fax up. Go ahead and make that statement. We're going to do Washington football team for now. Don't worry, something else. Controversial.
Yeah,
we'll have a name. So now you got the Cleveland Indians too. They're going to be the next team.
Yep.
Yeah.
To change their name. So they're probably like the same thing. Nike or Pepsi or somebody said, you know what, we don't want to associate with you guys anymore. Oh, we're going to change our name. We'll just be Cleveland for now.
Cleveland baseball team.
Right.
But back to what y'all said about Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know you're a little bit younger than me, Courtney. I don't know about you, Courtney, but I'm old enough to remember when Joe Theismann got injured by Lawrence Taylor, and he was done. That was it. He wasn't no chance of him playing again. It was over. I was watching it with my dad. I was like, ugh. Yeah. And now to see Smith come back from that, and we all saw the pictures of his leg, and forget walking. He came all the way back and played in the NFL again. So, that's man.
It's
wow. All right, go ahead, Courtney. You had some other.
I was gonna say but before that, like the Alex Smith, I remember that Joe Theismann too. I mean, his leg like a twig, almost like snapped and everything. And Alex Smith, they were talking about Alex Smith. He could have almost died because he had an infection in his leg and everything. So that was brutal, man. I mean, that was ridiculous. But I just had a few more just to add. Tennis, you got Naomi Osaka, who won her third major, and the statement she was doing in the U.S. Open with those, she had her mask on with all the names with, Breonna Taylor and, George Floyd, and, she had all the names. Each round had a name for her, to represent. And the thing I was reading it, and she was saying about, they asked her the question, like, what's your statement of this? She said, well, what do you think it is? She said, I'm just bringing awareness to, to this. So I thought it was a good answer what she said. She said, I'm just going to wear the names of people that got killed by, police, unarmed people got these. So that was the George Floyd effect. I think that was definitely one of the ones that was a big story. Another one, Rafael Nadal, he tied Roger Federer for 20 majors, so that's a big one. That's huge, man. Nobody thought Federer would ever get caught. It's how Nadal's got that 20th and might get a couple more over Federer, so that's another one. And my last one was Patrick Mahomes getting the bank, $500 million. Signed that huge contract, man. Patrick Mahomes, man. He got that money. Got a Super Bowl. Probably won another one. Got MVP. And so
Yeah, this
those are a
guy,
few the ones I said.
Great. Yeah. And shout out to Al High. He's the one that put in the comment, the George Floyd effect, which that, man, the way that changed that section or that time in sports, everybody was talking about it. If you lived on the planet, there's no way you couldn't talk about it because it was plastered everywhere. That video did not go down. I mean, even if it did go down, somebody else posted it because it just kept it kept being imaged in our minds because honestly, we needed to see that because we think, oh well, we don't have it on video, so maybe it didn't happen. We have this thing on video. Like, there's no way you can dispute this. There's no way you can say, oh well, he shouldn't have did that, or I didn't know. You've seen it. There's no other way to get around it. So, Giannis getting the biggest contract ever.
Yeah, 5 years and like $228 million. That's
big money.
Supermax, yeah.
Nope.
Big money. And then MLB, was it Mookie or was it
Mookie Betts getting traded? Yep.
Yeah, Mookie Betts getting traded. But did he get the biggest contract or was it
I think
the Angels?
I think it was I think it was Mookie Betts. Yeah.
I think Mike Trout.
He got a 10-year deal.
Trout.
Yeah, Trout had 13 years, I think, right? 13, 12 years.
Bryce Harper got 13.
Yeah.
300 and something with Philly. But
yeah, let's go ahead and pull it up. Let me go ahead and pull it up now. Number one is Bryce. Oh, how old is this? Yeah, number one is Bryce Harper.
13 years. Yep.
13 years. Jarrett Cole, Manny Machado was third.
Oh, I think Mookie Betts got a 10-year deal with the Dodgers, I think. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Mookie got paid and Trout got paid, which deservedly so. And then Mookie first year with the Dodgers, they get a championship. So,
but you got it. There's a new team in town though in the NLS, San Diego Padres. Watch out for them. They just got Blake Snell.
Blake Snell, yeah, they loading up out there.
They were stacking up last year. They're only getting better.
They just got the guy from Japan, the Japan star. I forgot his name, but they just signed him today, and they're trying to get
Darvish
out too.
Was it Darvish they got?
No, not yet. They're working on it.
Oh, okay.
They got Clevenger. I think they added him. I think he's going to be on the DL. Pomerantz, I think that they added him. And I mean, they stacked up. Like, they should be really good this year, which I think that's a good thing for baseball. You gotta have some. You got to be able to spread out the talent. So, looking forward to MLB. It's been a weird.
I think the most. Excuse me. I think the most interesting storyline right now in 2020, James Harden. Where I think with all the drama that's going on with him, going to the club, Atlanta, Vegas, and then disrespecting the media. I think that's the most interesting storyline right now in 2020. And the most, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get traded anytime soon. So I think he'll be in Houston for a little while than we thought.
Yeah, and that should be interesting because you have him, John Wall,
DeMarcus
Cousins. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know. To me, it seems like interesting.
How that's going to work, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Something got to give. I don't know if they eventually move him or just wait until they, feel they can get more leverage or get the best deal. But I mean, he still went out there and I mean, they 0-2, but he come out there and dropped his 40-4-17 on Portland, even though he is a little pudgy. He's
been eating.
Oh my God!
That's that quarantine. That's that quarantine weight that he put on, man.
Yeah. I told her back in '99 after the lockout, Sean Kemp was never the same. Remember?
That's true.
No.
Hey, Sean
Vinny
Kemp
Baker too. Vin Baker.
Yep. Hey, Dominique. I don't know what year Dominique was, but when Dominique in those later years, Dominique I don't know if he was still dunking.
Yeah.
He got a budget. A couple other stories that I just found is that I've been thinking of is like the kids of our favorite athletes. So Bronny James, the emergence of Bronny. Like I knew his name was LeBron James Jr., but Bronny coming up, Dwayne Wade's son, Keenan Martin's son got drafted. Cole Anthony, who's Greg Anthony's son. I mean, like, we're all getting older and we're starting to see these guys that we watched, their sons playing and some of them being better than their dad. So this I think this year we're seeing the emergence of that too.
And the first time they hit me was when he wasn't that good, but when Patrick Ewing Jr. was coming up, I was like, oh my goodness. And it's just been happening ever since that.
I had Patrick Ewing Jr. on the show 2 weeks ago.
That's all right, man. I remember all the big guests.
That's big.
Caleb B, how many K's can you type at one time, my friend?
You get all the trolls.
You got some newcomers. This other guy said, "WTF am I watching?"
Wow.
Look at the title. I don't know what to tell you. Look at the title. But
people out, man. They must have got too much time on their hands, man.
Like Caleb went to sleep on the K button. That must have been what that is. He just dozed off on it.
That's drool. That's the drool hitting the button.
Yeah. People got some time on their hands, man. I think they off work and they just ain't got. They just doing something. I don't know what it is today, man.
So 2020 is coming to an end. 2021. I believe it's going to be better than what this year was. But we got a lot of storylines going into 2021 in all sports. Obviously, with the NFL, we talked about Wentz, Dak. Dak still doesn't have a deal, so what's going to happen there? NBA, what does this NBA season look like going into next year? And then Major League Baseball, the Dodgers finally getting one, so who's going to win next year? So we got a lot of great things to look forward to. Thank you guys for coming on tonight. Anything you want to share you guys got coming up this week? Courtney, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, just doing a couple shows this week. Getting ready for the new year. Just more guests. Got this week. I got Nathan on the show. Him and Ariel coming onto the show. We're gonna talk some sports media stories of 2020, and then I'll be on his show on Friday talking college football, the playoffs, and other 2020 storylines. And we're gonna hit the ground running on with the real deal. So follow on BS3Radio.com, also at Get the Real Deal on Twitter, and continue just to keep supporting the show, all those videos and things that I'm putting out there. So I'm just glad to be able to put out as much content as I can.
Nice. Yeah, you've been doing a really good job, man, especially with the videos. I've been following and paying attention, getting some really good guests and killing it.
Thanks.
So that's great. Vinny, what do you have coming up this week?
Got Cats Talk Wednesday with myself and Terry Brown Wednesday. I'm not sure if we're going to have a guest or not. If it just be the two of us, we'll still get that ironed out. And because it's kind of a broken record, but Kentucky basketball is 1-6, making history for all the wrong reasons. Ain't never said it like this before, but hey, you gotta take the lows with the highs. And we're in a low right now, so I'm just gonna see what Cal does to handle it, how he reacts to it, what's his plan to try to get it turned around. I got the Believe in Kentucky podcast with former UK player Tony Delk, the 96 championship team as well. So we're doing that every week also. Yeah.
Hey, and that's dope too, man. When I seen that, I was like, man, is that Tony Delk? Tony Delk? That's the only Tony Delk I've never heard of. So I was like, Vinny's doing some good things.
Hey, Courtney, man, he hates the Cowboys. Courtney, he's always talking so much trash to me about the Cowboys.
Oh my God,
texting me or something like that whenever they lose. He'll get his little digs in when we're recording too, man. So yeah, nice. He hates the Cowboys.
Make sure to check that out.
And it's funny. And what's funny? Sorry, Ben. What's funny? We said with the Cowboys and the situation they're in with the NFC East. the Eagles, Eagle fans don't like Cowboys. It's just like the worst. So I can see the Eagles actually losing purposely just to get the Cowboys out. I can see that. I can really see that.
Anything can happen.
But the Cowboys got to take care of business first. They got to get their own business.
We're beating the Giants on Sunday, all right? That's a fact. We're beating the Giants on Sunday. That is for a fact. Andy Dolan is on the – dude, Andy Dolan is on – he's in the zone right now. No one – come on now. Let's go.
Andy
You can put all your hopes in Andy Dalton all you want. You can put all your hopes in that.
Hey, I didn't even think Andy was going to play this year. I was not expecting Andy to see any footballs at all. Yeah. I was expecting him to be just with the headset on. Hey, good job, Dak. Andy got in. Andy got in. So, all right, Nathan, what you got coming up this week?
So, me and Ariel, we're working on some big things. So, I think next year is the year everybody should be tuning in because we got some big things cooking for next year. But for this week. Tomorrow we got nothing for tomorrow, but Wednesday we're having we're going on. Me and her we're going on Courtney's show, talk about the top 5 media people, and then Wednesday we were interviewing softball player Gigi Spear. She plays for Fordham University, so she's coming on the show. Thursday I think we got a segment. I'm not too sure, but Friday we're gonna have Courtney on the show. To go for the 2020 year in a review and then talk about the college football playoffs and then nothing yet for next week, but we're just currently working on getting some big time guests for next year. I'm just grateful to be we're at 651 episodes now for this podcast, and I'm just grateful to have a co-host in Ariel where she's a hardworking. Go follow her, and she's amazing. So thank you guys for continuing watching our stuff and supporting it. And all you guys are doing a fantastic job. You guys are killing it. I'm happy to be connected with all of you guys, and we're podcast family. So
definitely, we definitely are. 2021 is going to be great. We will be back on Friday. We will be having our finale of the fantasy football show. So Nathan, Courtney, Vinny, if you play fantasy football, you're invited. Saturday night, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And then the Monday after that, I'm not sure what we'll be doing, but college football Monday will either the championship game, we'll be doing a pregame show or during the game, one or the other. So, come back, stay tuned, make sure to subscribe, click that bell, be on top of all the content. BS3radio.com. You can check out Courtney's show. You can also check out Vinny and Terry Brown's show, Cats Talk Wednesday. And then Nathan, the NR Hour, doing a great job every single week. Every single day, there's going to be a show. And there'll be something that you're going to want to watch because he's always asking the great questions. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Have a great one. And we will be back on Saturday. So,
peace. Appreciate it, Ben. Appreciate y'all.